It's interesting how, I've noticed at least, when a lot of people are becoming more interested in breath work, if they are yogists or if they do Pilates or if they enjoy that sort of exercise, even if they do gym work, the in breath and the out breath before you lift a weight or you drop a weight is vitally important. But it does amaze me sometimes that people are listening while they're trying to do breathing exercises, they're listening to relaxation tapes. Well, to me, that's kind of like not really serving its purpose. Because if you listen to a relaxation tape, just listen to that on its own and forget about your breathing, because that's helping to soothe your mind. It's helping to get you into a calm state. If they instruct or invite you to do breathing exercises on a relaxation tape, then brilliant. But sometimes I think we can be a bit in overkill about how we think we are doing things that are going to help us get into a relaxed frame of mind.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I used to be a meditate daily type of kind of person. But one day I just took a step back and I was thinking, why am I even doing this? Am I doing it because meditation is the buzzword and I've been told that it's great for relaxation? But in reality, I was a pretty relaxed person anyway. Meditating was just essentially, I guess, an investment that I didn't really need to make because I had the ability to be relatively relaxed in certain scenarios.
Okay, so how did you, when you were meditating, can I ask you a question? How were you able to dislodge thought process that wandered into your mind to stop you from being, if you like, clean in your head? Do you understand what I mean?
So how if I got stressed or anxious or whatever it may be, how did I prevent that from turning into some kind of catastrophic event psychologically that made me super stressed out? That's a good question. Now I'm a big fan of Stoic philosophy. I practice Stoicism every single day. I don't know what your knowledge is from a Stoic perspective, but I do a lot of journaling. I journal every day. I have a journal with me all the time in my pocket that I write down any situation that's kind of affects me, or I used to. I don't really need to anymore. I used to dissect my days in an evening, what happened then, actually relive the day in my head and kind of see what I did right or what I think I did wrong, what I could have done better, what I could have done right. But I think I would probably say, and it comes back to your core focus with you as a coach, Kay, which is the confidence side of things. I think once I let go of my attachment to other people's opinions of me, I found that was a big release and a big weight off my shoulders, where I no longer felt that I had to live up to other people's expectations and I could literally do what the fuck I wanted as an individual, and what other people thought or said was irrelevant. And that was pretty helpful.
So how did that voice in your head change? Because if you were living up to something that was your belief was an expectation of you, where did that come from?
That's a very good question. And trying to pinpoint it on a one core event, I don't think I could. I think it was a series of events one after the other that kind of opened my mind to a better way to think. Books like Mindset by Carol Dweck was one of the first books that kind of opened my mind up. A book by Mark Manson called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck also contributed to my outlook on things. That was actually a pretty powerful book. Stoicism then came in. This was probably 5 years ago. I started practicing Stoicism. So those authors and those bits of content, I guess, that I consumed that opened my eyes to a different way of living or a different way of thinking combined. And then the consistent effort of wanting to develop my own emotional awareness have all kind of
Yeah.
compounded together. So it's hard to pinpoint one specific thing that kind of did it, where I was stressed, anxious man to a collected man. There was no real definitive line in the sand. It was just a series of events, I think. And
Yeah, okay. I mean, I completely agree with you. I love Carol Dweck's work. The growth mindset, I think, is absolutely brilliant. But at the same time, this is for you and I turning into a coaching session, because I'm not asking for a line in the sand. I'm asking for your thinking process about yourself and whose voice it is that used to chunter away in your head to say, you can do better than this, Lewis. There's something going on that influenced you in some shape or form. It might have been a parent, it might have been a teacher, it might have been somebody when you're in the forces, weren't you?
yeah,
It will be something that somebody has nudged in your brain that you'll be thinking. I mean, I'm leaving that with you because we can talk about this at another stage, but there's something in there that has impacted you to make you have what would be called in NLP terms an away from mindset. You don't want to like that. I want to change. I want to read more. I've read this. I enjoy it. Now I'm going to read this. There's a trigger somewhere.
someone says something once and I've never forgotten it, and
Yeah,
that's
there's
constantly
yeah,
replayed.
absolutely. Or they've not even said it once. It's been a continued learned behaviour. It's been something that's they've been trying to influence you in some way. They've been trying to get you to think in their way of thinking, which you have adopted. And we all do it, because you'll notice with your two little girls as they're growing up, they will have behaviours which copy you and your wife. Even if it's when they start to use the telephone, they'll be holding it. Or my daughter, for example, used to walk about the kitchen holding it wasn't a mobile phone in those days. It was a phone that you could take off the extended phone unit. And she'd walk around the kitchen exactly as I used to when I was on the phone, because we learn by modelling. Modelling is the way we learn. You know, we copy what other people do because we can see that it works. But sometimes we adopt something or copy something that we think might be to our advantage, but actually we're wearing the wrong overcoat, which is what you discovered.